Oh my god, you won't believe what I've just found on eBay. I'm going to have to withdraw some petty cash and buy this.
Darren, this magnificent feast here is the last of the petty cash.
Slow down. Chew your food.
The last of the petty cash went down the drain for Twinkies and coffee and a busted chain. No more donuts, no more caffeine and rain. Just save.
Hello and welcome to the last of the Petty Cash episode 3. So I'm Darren McQuade, the Magic Ghostbuster / Vigo the Cosplaythian, and this is...
Chris Carter from the Spirit of 84 and also surfing on Sea Ghostbusters.
Yes, and in this episode we're going to be talking all things Frozen Empire because we both have quite a lot of experience with that film, don't we, Chris?
Yeah, we're going to more likely bore you to tears with that because I think you've more than likely heard most of it, but hopefully some of it will be of interest to you.
Yeah, we can talk about it again. But until we get on to that, Chris, anything you're looking forward to Ghostbusters-wise at the moment?
So, we've obviously, in the past couple of weeks, we've heard the announcement of the next figure from Mondo. Which is Winston and the Sandman. Your thoughts on it, Darren?
Absolutely incredible figure. I mean, the figures just look amazing. Like, I don't really know what more I can say about it. They just look absolutely incredible. And the and do you know the bit that excited me most about this one? And I can never remember the ghost's name, but it's the one that rides the sleigh. It says Rosebud.
Rosebud, yeah.
I can never remember the character's name, but I don't know why, but that ghost always struck with me as younger, and I found it a bit creepy. Yeah. So to see that in there was really like special.
Yeah, I think Mondo, you know, they've really gone above and beyond, more than we could ever imagine as regards what we're going to get as regards the quality of the figures. I think from the early shots we saw of the Peter figure, the Egon, etc., and then like all the little add-on and packing ghosts which you're actually getting, it sounds like a lot of money. I mean, how much they work out for over here by the time we've paid for shipping and that?
Probably around 180, I would like to say. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've kept up with the exchange rates.
Yeah, but I mean, these are going to be by far the best that you've ever seen as regards real Ghostbuster figures. You know, don't get me wrong. There's been some amazing stuff. Like over the years, you know, from Beducci and Tony Taylor and stuff like that. You know, there was some great sort of toys produced there. But as I say, these figures are like everything. It's like all our Christmases come at once when it comes to real Ghostbuster figures. Yeah,
and I mean, always wanted characters like Sam Hain and the Sandman in the real Ghostbusters line. I know we did actually get Sam Hain in the Extreme Ghostbusters figure line. Yeah, but you know, I was growing out of the toy playing with thing by that point in my own life, but would have loved the Sam Hain back in the day with the Kenner line, and to get that in the real Ghostbusters line is amazing. Sandman as well being a particular favourite, and we've got the Boogeyman.
Oh, the Boogeyman! It's absolutely the figure, the detail in that figure is insane, and the size of it, you know, these are next level. I think there will be people that, you know, you'll be kicking yourself in a year's time that you didn't actually sign up to it and sort of, you know.
I 100% agree with that, because if you don't know, the ghosts, so they got 2-packs, you get a figure and a ghost with each 2-pack, and they're exclusive online, they're a timed exclusive, and then the Ghostbusters will be available individually. I believe they're coming with a little packing ghost still.
That's right, yeah. There's a small packing ghost. The packaging, obviously, is different in both. So I think with the single figure with the small packing ghost, it's more of a ghost trap type type configuration as regards the box. I did actually see these at Ghostbusters Day in New York. The guys from Yes Have Some had some. Yes Have Some. Yep. Had some with them, and obviously the larger 2-pack is done like the front of the firehouse.
And it just looks incredible. Just as a complete package, like even without the figures, and you get the push-out ghosts as well. It's just like, is there anything they haven't thought of?
No, and I mean, hopefully, I know you know, we briefly discussed in the first episode of the podcast is that, you know, the economic climate is a bit tricky out there, shipping issues, etc., import and export duty. But, you know, I hope this line has longevity because, you know, I'd love to see a Janine.
Yeah, and I know they have teased the Janine because they did release a silhouette at one of the Comic Cons. Can't remember which Comic Con it was. And it was literally just a silhouette, but I guess that's going to depend on sales and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Will they put a ghost with her? Will they continue beyond Janine, you know? Because we've all got our wish lists of ghosts. I mean, we could go on for 20, 30 figures.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, this could be actually the most, the most amazing line that we've had for real Ghostbusters in the past 30 or 40 years, really, isn't it?
I could argue it already is.
Yeah.
And we haven't even had a figure delivered yet.
No, come on, Mondo, where are our figures? Okay, we're absolutely chomping at the bit to get them over here. So,
absolutely.
But as I say, all good things come to those who wait, and we are sitting here patiently awaiting them. So, very, very much looking forward to the Mondo releases.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to see what figure or ghost they pack with Ray, which I can't remember if they teased us with that or
they
not.
did. So I think it's Gash they're talking about going with Ray. So
I remember that now. Yep, it's just come back to me.
So we're looking. That'll be an interesting one as well. So
and I'm going to assume, going by the timelines, that will be up for pre-order around sort of October, maybe. I'm guessing. We haven't got any info on that. I'm just guessing there.
Yeah. But please send us at least one figure before you make us pay the number 4. We'd really appreciate that. Yeah. But we do understand, as I say, Mondo, they're a brilliant company, and I've got a few Mondo pieces upstairs. I think I bought some of the Real Monsters line and things like that, and I wasn't disappointed. Again, everything I'd hoped for when they come. So they are going to be worth the wait, and we look forward to it, and look forward to whatever other releases you bring along, Mondo.
Yeah, and have you got any particular wishes for that line?
I've got to be honest. There's just a lot of the background goes. I mean, I was hoping. I'm not going to lie. I was hoping with Winston. I'm not disappointing with Sandman. I was hoping for the umpire ghost and that, from the baseball episode, where they play for his soul, Winston's soul. That would have been a good one. I was like, oh, that would be so cool. But no, I mean, anything and everything along the line of ghosts. I mean, I'd love to see some Terror Dogs.
Terror Dogs would be amazing.
Yeah, so but obviously from the real Ghostbusters. So they would, I'm sure Mondo could make an amazing job of them.
I'm sure they could. I'd like to see what would be I think, my number 1 ghost. And I can never remember the names of the ghosts, but are the 3 from the first episode. Make a lovely box set, I think.
Yeah. So there's lots of potential there.
Yeah,
so.
and like I say, we're all going to have our own individual lists. So, my only fear is they do an Ecto 1, because that's going to be so big and expensive. Where do I put it?
No, don't make me make suggestions on here. Okay.
Let's not go there. Right, so anything else merch-wise? I think gbfans.com have a 25th anniversary coin.
Yes, again, designed by Eric Christensen. Absolutely, Eric's designs are really out there. Love everything that the guy does. Does a lot of designs for the Ghostbusters Day celebrations, etc. So that's available to purchase. I think it's $25 on the GB Fans website plus shipping. So check that out. It's really worth picking up, especially if you like a challenge coin. And I think, I won't swear to it, but I think the 20th anniversary one is still available on there as well if you wanted to grab one. So give GB Fans a quick look on there. So there's some great stuff on there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've all bought many a thing from GB Fans. I think half my Proton Pack parts were bought from GB Fans, like valves and so on. And one of my favourite things, being a magician, funny enough, I bought. I think I must have bought about 12 of the old playing cards that come out for the 30th anniversary from their website, because they had knocked them right down cheap. I was like, just buy all of them.
Yeah.
And I've used them for card tricks since. So yeah, great website. I just can't believe it's 25 years.
Yeah, it goes way too quickly. Anyway, onwards and upwards and on to business.
Yeah, so Frozen Empire. So myself and Chris were both lucky enough to work as supporting artists on Frozen Empire. We both ended up doing that through different means. So your story's probably a bit more exciting than mine, Chris. Shall I go first on this one?
You lead the way, Darren.
Right, so I have worked as in the film industry for a few years now, doing background work, and I've done a few minor roles in TV shows like Ghosts and a few other things as well. But done a lot of background work, worked on Wonder Woman, Star Wars, a few things like that, and was lucky enough to get hired for Frozen Empire. At the time, it went under the code name Firehouse because a lot of these films come under code names, so you don't get an email saying, "Are you available to work on Ghostbusters?" Because that would get leaked pretty quick. And it's funny because before I got this job, there was rumours of them filming Ghostbusters over in the UK, and I thought, what a load of rubbish, of course it ain't being filmed over it. And I was happy to say I was wrong. I don't think I've ever been so happy to know I was wrong about something. But yeah, so I got hired to work on the film, and you know, most of these jobs tend to be pretty boring, in all honesty. You know, you're sitting around all day, just waiting for stuff to happen. But I was like a kid on Christmas. So, you know, I've gone on set. I was basically hired to walk past Ray's bookshop. They wanted a New York rocker, was my character's official title. And I think the long hair probably helped with that. I watched them film the scene where the Ecto drives past Ray's occult. And obviously Ray is looking out. You do see someone walk past that. That isn't me, unfortunately. It's one of the other people that was hired the day I was. But I think there was about 10, 15 of us hired that day to walk past Ray's occult. And it's funny because from the angle they filmed it at, they filmed it all from the interior. I think you can just see about one pair of feet go past in the entire scene. So you can't see me, but that is one of the things about working in that job. I mean, when I worked on Wonder Woman, I was probably about 6 inches from and you can't even see my shoulder in that film. So that is just one of the things. And for anyone who wants to get into that work, that is something you have to be aware of. Don't go into that work thinking you're going to get your big break and all that. You hear stories like that occasionally, but they are incredibly rare. The chances are the way they edit these things is you don't get seen, which is just, you know, nice to get seen. You don't always. Just take it for what it is. And I mean, looking up at that Firehouse set was like amazing. Looking up at the Razor Cult set, absolutely incredible. And I think being on set, I actually was slightly disappointed in that you don't see the exterior of Razor Cult in the film because they've done an amazing job of building that set.
Yeah, they did. That's absolutely incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely incredible day. I've got my production pass, which is one of my most prized possessions, and it's not really anything special to look at. It's basically a white pass. It says temporary pass, Firehouse production from stage 50, and I did actually get that signed by Jason Reitman. But one of my prized possessions, just because of what it means to me, really. But like I say, it's just a plain looking pass. So yeah, not much more I can really say about that. But I had a wonderful time, got paid to be there, you know, and how many people can say they got paid to do their absolute dream job?
Yeah, no, without that. Well, my story is obviously a little bit different, and I'm not quite so talented as Darren. So I've had the odd little bit of TV work in the past, nothing fancy, nothing you're ever going to remember that well. But obviously, once we'd heard that, you know, there was the potential that Firehouse was being filmed out here in the UK, we'd sort of discussed among ourselves, you know, the possibilities of being involved. And I think when you talk about it, it's a bit of a
pipe dream.
Pipe dream, totally. Yeah, I think that's a good word to describe it, Darren. You know, you don't think it's ever going to happen, and you know, you just think, well, you know, how can I make it happen? And the funny thing was, we spoke about him in our first episode, like a dear friend Austin from Ecto1GB. He'd spoke to me, and you know, this was before I'd actually joined South Inland Sea Ghostbusters officially. I'd been doing gigs with them, but that was about it. And Austin sort of said to me, you know, Chris, how do you think we could get involved in this? And I said, I don't really know. I said, you know, maybe we could reach out to, you know, to Sony somehow. Anyway, within my little black book, I had a few numbers and bits and pieces, and I passed them on to Austin, and we just sort of said, oh, you know, possibly contact so-and-so, so-and-so. We won't name names because I don't want them being bothered in the event of a...
Don't message us asking for Chris's black book.
You're not getting it. And And then I come home and that was that. And my wife sort of said to me, oh, you know, how's things? But we was chatting and I told her about the conversation with Austin. And she said, oh, have you done that? And I said, what? So she said, have you messaged anyone? And I sat there and I said, no, I haven't. She said, well, why not? I said, I really don't know. And that was that, end of conversation. I went back to work the next morning. I was having a terrible day at work. And I thought, you know what? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. So one of these particular contacts, I reached out via Instagram and messaged them. And 10 minutes later, there's a message on Instagram. And, hi, you know, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we can possibly do something for you. And I'm standing there like, and I'm saying to my mate, shit, what's going on here? I was just like, couldn't believe it. And I thought, was this a wind-up? And anyway, they then forwarded on their personal email address and said contact them via that. And I did. And then later that day, I was put in contact with Costume. And I come home, I had to send them over some profile pictures.
Heavily photoshopped.
Heavily photoshopped, yeah. It took a few years off of me. And they come back to me the next morning, I think, and said, yeah, we've got some room for you. We're going to give you a little part as an extra. I told them a little bit about myself, my background, etc. You know, things I'd done. I said, I don't even mind coming to make the tea. I said, I'll be quite happy doing that. But no, Sony were gracious enough to give me a small part, and it turns out the rest of the Southend boys had gone down a similar route and they had been invited. So there was myself, the rest of the Southend guys, Austin, and at the time we thought there'd be about 60 or 70 other people from different franchises. So we then are given a date to turn up for costume. I think obviously something similar happened to yourself, didn't it?
Yeah, you have to go to costume first.
So we went to costume, and while we was in costume, they then said to us, look, we had you down for the library scene, the scene where obviously the lion comes alive and the possessor ghost. But we've got a bit of a bigger scene. Do you reckon you could do another day or so? And was like, yeah, no problem. So we said, how many other groups and franchises are involved? No, just you, 7 of you. So there was myself, Austin, 4 from Southend-on-Sea, and the 7th one was Simon from Chorley Ghostbusters.
Yeah, lovely guy.
Yeah, I mean, Simon, he's like a brother, you know. Such a nice, gentle, kind man. Okay, you can't want to meet a better guy than Simon. So I knew of Simon anyway. So I thought, well, this is great. This is amazing. So we spent the day in costume, which was absolutely incredible. I'm sure that Darren's experience was very much the same.
So for me, they were like, because they wanted me as a rocker, they were like, can you bring options? Because that was basically half my wardrobe. And when they ask you to bring options, they'll have their own stuff as well. So some people, they'll change their outfit completely and give you an outfit to wear. For me, I ended up wearing my own stuff. So, which I actually really liked, because now I've got to keep my costume from the film, which, you know, I've kept in a box separate and I don't really wear it anymore. Unfortunately, because my experience was slightly different, is I know you guys got a picture outside the firehouse which you got to keep after. Unfortunately, I didn't get to keep a photo of myself because I was a paid extra. It was a slightly different thing, and they lock your phones up, which I think they locked your phones up as well. Yeah. So it would have been someone else who took that picture for you and forwarded it on. Unfortunately, I wasn't that lucky. But it was still an absolutely great experience.
Yeah, it was. For us, being in costume itself was absolutely incredible, because the ladies were very, very kind to us in costume, and as a lot of you know me quite well, you know, and obviously this story will link in later on, is obviously I have an extensive tattoo sleeve, Ghostbusters sleeve, so it's quite well known there. And the ladies there took photos of it, and they determined that I needed to be in a long sleeve shirt because Ghostbusters couldn't exist in that world as far as I was concerned. But they allowed me, they said, oh, well, while you're waiting and we're deciding on your costume, etc., please feel free to wander around the costumes, etc., and look at whatever you want. No photos, because obviously our cameras and that were all, and our phones were all turned off. But I was like a child in a sweet shop. I obviously developed a photographic memory in about 10 minutes because everything I picked up and I looked at a label, I knew what it was and where it was coming from. And
yeah, I remember you phoning me on your way home and saying, Darren, there's this lab coat you need to go and buy it. Go and buy it immediately.
Go and buy it immediately, you know. So I was like it with everything. So that was pretty incredible, and we got some photos which were forwarded on to us by the ladies later on as regards us standing there with in costumes. The costume I've got a photo of with me in front of a board saying Firehouse, etc., was not the costume I actually ended up in. They put me in a long sleeve shirt, and there's a vintage Yankees top that I've got on over the top of that, and black baseball cap, shorts, etc. So we joked later on with the guys from Yes Have Some that I was a middle-aged confused Yankees fan. So it was that side of it was really cool. So and then afterwards we was allowed to go into the first of the firehouses. So for those that aren't aware, where costuming took place at Winnersh in Reading, there was a firehouse built there for interior shots, and there was also the
exterior. There was Razor Colt was on one of those.
No, Razor Colt was actually on the other one. So,
there was the other one.
So we had New York Public Library, later on Melody's Diner, and the Underground Laboratory, which I didn't actually get to see, but I believe Austin did, didn't he? So,
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, because Austin went to costume a couple of days after us. It was all there, it was all going on, so that was a pretty incredible day, but nothing really preparing us for what it was going to be like to be on set.
No, and it's weird, because obviously I've got a lot of experience being on set, but not I guess the closest I ever got to that experience was Star Wars. That was Rise of Skywalker, which I guess turned into the film not many people liked, so we won't go into that. But yeah, this was just a whole new thing for me, and even when I wasn't in a scene, I was sat behind the firehouse watching a scene inside Razor Colt, and it was Podcast, Phoebe, Ray, and it was on a screen. I couldn't hear the dialogue, so I'm just sitting there they're talking about stuff in the shop, and I'm like, what are they talking about? And you're just trying to figure out and make things up in your head. And then I did get to see the bike as well on the set, and just learning little things, the things that didn't happen on the day, but you just pick up little things from bits that are about. Like I knew Slimer was back, obviously long before he was in the advertising. Little things like that really, and it's just like. And I would say I knew some stuff, but not enough to spoil the film for me either, which is good. Yeah. Because I wouldn't want that either, really. I wouldn't want to have known the whole story. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we went into, I've never had the experiences that Darren's had with, large scale films and that, so we went into it quite green. We got there and everyone was absolutely lovely on set, and by then with sort of, maybe it's just slightly our personalities, by then people were sort of getting to know us and they were bouncing off us, and they couldn't believe we was actually doing this and not getting paid. That was the other thing. We was the wacky super fans, and people just wanted to hang out with us and that. Yeah. So that was quite nice.
Yeah, I'd like to point out, I actually one of the few jobs I would have done for free, but I wasn't going to turn down the money.
No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But so day one of filming for us, we didn't really know what to expect. So we walked on to We had to go to hair and makeup first off, and you get scrutinised, and they check over your costume and make sure it's how they want it, and that's all sorted. And then you're given breakfast, and you're given like a concealment cloak, is it, or something, Darren, it's called?
Yeah, different productions have different names: concealment cloak, secrecy cloak, things like that. And I always found them quite funny. Like I didn't need one of them for Ghostbusters, but funny enough, I won't talk about it too long because we're talking about Ghostbusters, but I had it when I was on Star Wars, and I was in a First Order technician costume, and I had to wear one as I would go outside because apparently paparazzi would fly drones over.
Right.
It's the same sort of thing for you. They worry about paparazzi flying drones over, but I find it quite funny because I could get it if they had one of the main cast there, like Luke Skywalker or Ray Stantz or whatever. I can't imagine paparazzi going, oh look, there's Chris Carter in an old Yankees t-shirt, but they are that fussy.
I think, I've got to be honest, I think if I was second guessing costume, they was more concerned about me getting tomato sauce down my costume, because they then gave me breakfast, and as my wife will tell you, there's always a risk. If there's a clean top in the house, it's going to get gravy or sauce down it. So.
Yeah, and I've been to the interview many a time, and yeah, I can confirm Amanda is 100% correct.
Yeah, so yeah, but so from there we was then put on a coach and we were shipped off to the main part of the studios, which was like a 10-15 minute bus ride.
Yeah, and there was a lot of building work around there at the time as well.
Yeah, heck of a lot. On set there was like a waiting holding area where we sat, and obviously there was cast pods, like their cabins and all that all around. And on top of that there was another firehouse for interior shots, plus all the external bits and pieces. There was a New York street scene area, just as if you was back in hook and ladder in New York.
Insane. I mean, when we were in New York last year, I mean, I've done a little video with James, and he was comparing the shot of the set to the actual street, like showing like how close it was to like the little pothole next to a sewer cover and all this sort of stuff. And it's like the detail that these prop guys go into is just it's insane. And it's details really. I don't think you immediately notice, but they're there, and subconsciously it just makes it all perfect.
I mean, for me as well, obviously, you know, we walked in there and obviously Razor Cult was there as well, which is just incredible. And as Darren can, you know, verify to that, he's seen Razor Cult. You know, the inside is decked out like a full Razor Cult shop, and it's just everything in it you'd ever hope that would be in it. But one of the lasting memories for me with regards to all of this was how friendly, how happy, how kind everybody was. You know, I spoke to different members, from tech teams to prop masters, you know, to design people, to costume, to hair, to makeup, that took pay cut to work on Ghostbusters. And that really, really says something, I think, that, you know, and, you know, I'm very, very fortunate that I've stayed friends with a lot of these people, you know, and they said it's possibly the best job they've ever had, you know, and it was a privilege to work with everybody, you know, so that's a really nice thing to hear, you know. I mean, I think Rich from South End on Sea, like Richard mentions at one stage when he's being interviewed by Have Some and all that, we done a little documentary thing with them. You know, he mentioned on there's a lot of love for Ghostbusters, and I think that is really, really a real true statement. So.
Yeah, and it really come through. Like even just, I mean, I was looking around everywhere, just trying to take every little thing in, and just even people I didn't speak to, you could just see were enjoying it, and you know, and film sets can be stressful places. I mean, I've experienced the worst film sets where everyone's stressed. There's a lot of, you know, swearing going on and anger and all that. There was none of that on this.
No.
You know, it was all really nice, friendly. Everyone did genuinely look like they're enjoying themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they made, you know, obviously we saw Gil come over and spoke to us, Jason come and spoke to us, and that. They made a real conscious effort as well to make sure that as little as our parts were going to be in this, we was going to be sane. And even at the end of it, you know, when we'd finished filming and we'd gone, you know, we was getting prepared to go home, and you know, Gil said, "Got some great shots of you guys. You are going to get seen. You'll all see yourself for a little bit of time on the screen." And you don't know. As Darren's testified, you really don't know how that's going to work out.
Yeah, you never do for sure, because like I think the best example for me is Wonder Woman, where I was 6 inches from Wonder Woman in this scene. Like I said, you can't even see my shoulder, and yet I was like thanked massively by the director on that one. But ultimately, it's down to how they edit it. They might do reshoots, things change. They might cut the scene completely. So you can never be 100% sure until that film is in the cinema. And I mean, sort of on topic, but a completely different film. I remember speaking to this lady who had worked on the film about Freddie Mercury or Queen.
Right, yeah.
And she had like a little scene dancing to some music, and she was told that was one of the main bits in this certain scene. It was completely cut. Yeah. And she didn't know till she got to the cinema. So again, if you ever do that sort of work, just lower your expectations.
Yeah, lower your expectations, definitely.
Is very important.
I mean, for me, you know, we'll go back to the issue with the tattoos. So on the first day of the filming, we'd been positioned outside just outside the firehouse. We was in a great location, like, you know, me, Simon, Rich, one side, Kieran, James, Oz, and Alan on the other side. And, you know, we're like looking at each other going, wow, this is amazing. So they bring out, obviously, our look-alike cast, where we got to meet, after me absolutely berating him for 2 days, Stunt Bill, Trevor Atkinson, another lovely man, really lovely man, and he's embraced the community immensely. So we love you for that, Trev. And so they positioned me, and then I can't remember who it was who came over to me. It might have been Erica or something. She said to me, "Chris, need you to roll your sleeves up." And I said, I can't. "What do you mean you can't?" I said, "I've got Ghostbusters tattoos." "Well, it can't be that bad, show me." So I roll my sleeve up, and she goes, "Oh my God, have the guys seen this?" And I was like, "The guys?" Well, I said, "They took some photos at costume and that." No, don't go anywhere." So I thought, well, I'm not going anywhere, that's for certain. And off she runs. Then she comes back, and who she got walking in hand was Bill Murray. And I'm standing there thinking, this just, you know, this can all finish now, as far as I'm concerned, you know, because, you know, the white wow is Bill Murray. And she walks him over to me, and she goes, "Bill, this is Chris. Chris, this is Bill." And I'm like, and he reaches out, he's got great big shovel-like hands, and he shakes my hand and that. And she went, "Show Bill the tattoos." So Bill's got on my arm, and he's looking at his tattoo. And he goes, "Oh my God, man," he said, these are amazing. And then he's got me, and he's punching my arm and going, "Look how young I was in those, look at how young I was there." He said, "I spent days covered in slime." He said, these are amazing. I can see the guys out the corner of my eye, just out of shot, going like, "Fucking hell, Bill Murray's punching Chris." It's like, you know, and I was just, you know, and I'm playing it as cool as I can to be having Bill holding on to me and talking to me, and, you know, and then he grabbed his heart, like put his hand on his heart, and he said, "You know, this means a lot to me, man." And I was like, you know, absolutely blown away. And then he says, "Hold up a minute," and he runs off and drags Dan back. And then, because these tattoos are reasonably new, and the last time I'd seen Dan, I don't think I had them. And so Dan is looking at his tattoo, and he's going, "Oh my God, this is incredible." So he goes and gets his daughter, who was also on set, brings his daughter over and showing her. And then they go and get Ernie. And Ernie, if you've had the chance, don't get me wrong, Bill and Dan are lovely guys, absolutely amazing. But Ernie's just a different animal. He's I think, you know, you've met Ernie before, and you've had some interaction with Ernie, haven't you? And
yeah, I've got a little video of him actually. He sent me after watching one of my videos. So yeah.
Yeah, he's a very special man, Ernie is. And I think around COVID time, I think he sent my granddaughter a video on that, and it was a very, very heartfelt and moving video for her 10th birthday, and I've never forgotten that. And I recently added Ernie to the inside of my arm on my tattoos, and Ernie was absolutely blown away with it. And later on during that day, he actually came looking for me and brought his camera onto set, which was a bit of a no-no, and dragged me into the firehouse and took photos of it for his personal, his own personal, and he had a bit of a tear in his eye. And he said to me, he said, why did you do that? I said, you're an amazing man, Ernie. And I said, and I told him the story about the message for Lily, and he gave me the biggest hug ever, and yeah, Ernie, love you to bits. Yeah, absolutely love you to bits. He's
a very genuine guy.
Yeah,
like 100%.
Yeah.
And, yeah, nothing but nice things to say about Ernie. And also, how on earth is he in his 70s?
I don't know.
Like,
yeah,
I think the next Ghostbusters film has to be them like finding the fountain of youth or something, just to explain.
I think Ernie's got it in his basement. I think because the guy looks absolutely incredible. But in all fairness, all the guys were done really, really well. It's very. Darren's more of an expert than me, but the filming schedules are very, very tiring, aren't they?
Yeah, they can be, and even for like what I do, it can be long days. And that's without the stress of learning lines and all that sort of stuff, and doing a more serious performance. And when times I have done the slightly more serious performance, it can be quite draining and that sort of stuff even more. So what those guys are doing, and especially at the older age, it must be really, really tough. But yeah, great guys and done a brilliant job.
So off the back of Ernie dragging me into the firehouse, which I wasn't expecting, to be greeted by the whole cast in the firehouse. So I'm standing in there, and there's Ernie, there's Bill, there's Dan, there's James Acaster, there's Logan Kim, there's McKenna, there's Carrie, there's Paul Rudd, there's absolutely Kumal, there's everyone in there. So they get, Ernie's going, have you seen Chris's tattoos? And so they've got hold of me and they're clucking over their tattoos, and Annie looks and she says, are you going to get me added, sweetheart? And I said, yeah. And she says, don't go getting it done on your ass. So I said, no, I won't, Annie. So anyway, the next thing, and this ends up as being, most people know this story now, but Paul Rudd grabs my arm and he looks up and down and he goes to me, he's a fucking sick man. He said, but where am I? And I was just trying to be cool and calm, and I just said, I've got room on my arse for you, Paul. So he looks and he goes, get me a pen. And I think at the time, it was James stepped forward out of the shadows, James Riches from our lot in Southend, and produced a pen for Paul, who then bends me over in the firehouse, to much laughter from everybody else, and proceeds to draw on my back. And then says to me, go get that tattooed. So I said, all right. I don't know what I've got on my back or anything, but I've said, all right. And I've got, in Paul's words, I've got this terrible stick figure-like picture of Paul on my back.
I believe he called it tramp stamp.
Yeah, tramp stamp. Yeah. A couple of times, I've been called tramp stamp guy. I think Finn called me tramp stamp guy at the premiere. So yeah.
So Chris's social media is now changing from Spirit 84 to tramp stamp guy 84. You can follow him.
Yeah, but so like as I promised him, and the next day when he saw me, he said, "You're gonna?" I said, "Paul, I will get it done." And so lo and behold,
and then there is a video of Paul actually talking about that, which went viral.
Yeah, it went viral just before the film came out.
So Chris's face isn't famous, but his tramp stamp is.
His tramp stamp is, So that just added to the whole experience, and I think that's something I think you laugh and joke about. It's a tattoo, but I think anyone in my situation would have done the same.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't really do tattoos myself, but I would have done them.
Yeah. So and it's it's sort of made a name for me as regards that. And then later on, I signed over the rights to the tattoos on my arm to be used on the Light 'Em Up podcast that they program they've done, which I think went out on Peacock and Hulu in America.
Like that,
and on there, Dan talks about fans with amazing artwork, and he's talking to Bill, and then the next 2 screenshots are my pictures of Bill and Dan on my arms. So I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of Joshua Watson, Tattoo Club 27, who done these for me. So, and continues to do them for me. He's done Annie since.
Well, so we made quite a lot of friends through our time doing Ghostbusters, which I think has gave us some opportunities to get some bits that maybe other people didn't have quite the same opportunity we did. So I think we should have a little talk about some of those, and I think the first ones are sitting on our heads.
Yeah, crew hats.
Yeah, so because it was filmed in London, they've done like a crew logo, which is of like the London Underground logo.
Very similar.
Yeah, and it's got UK Crew 2023 written across the bottom, and then Firehouse along the bar, where it'd normally be the station name, because like we said, that is that was the code name of the film, wasn't it? Which was really cool. So really cool to have stuff like that, and there was a couple of different crew hats. So I've got one here. This is a beanie hat.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not really a beanie hat guy myself. I don't know about you, Chris, but they're not really
No, I've got to be honest, I would wear this other than the fact that I don't want to ruin it. So it's,
Yeah, so I wouldn't really wear mine because it's not my sort of thing, but this it's like a khaki colour, and it has like, instead of the name of the Ghostbuster, it's got Firehouse, it's like a name patch. Then it's got the Ghostbusters logo, and that's got cast and crew with 2023. So these were given to not only the crew but the cast as well. So, which is very, very cool. Then we've got some other bits. So we got crew jackets as well, haven't we?
Yeah, we got crew jackets. Yeah, they're really nice, and because there was a whole thing obviously on set and afterwards, people going on once they'd seen the first couple of trailers about the red coats. Which, obviously they don't get seen
as much as we thought they were, but I remember as soon as that trailer was out, a bunch of us put a picture of us up in our crew jackets. So I know I did. I think Kieran did.
Yeah.
Did you put one up? I can't remember.
Possibly. Who knows?
Yeah, and suddenly we're inundated with messages saying, "Where did you get your jacket?" And all we could say is NDA, non-disclosure agreement. So we couldn't tell anyone at that point in time. But they were like I guess a cheaper variant of the coat they used.
Of the wax sleeve. Yeah. I mean, that was a difficult thing as well, because once they come up, obviously, I spoke on the, and it's not meant as a name drop. I stood next to Celeste, and she had her coat on, and Celeste she's a lovely young lady, really, really is lovely. Very, very easy to talk to and that. And I loved the jacket, and I think we was talking, I said to her, and she went, "Oh, I really like it as well. She's, it's keeping me nice and warm. She's really well designed." So, I said, "Oh, what's the make of it?" And so I knew they were a Waxley Sabertooth too. Yeah. But a few people had said to me, "You got any idea what a jacket's on?" I said, "Yeah, it's a Waxley Sabertooth too." "No, it's not." So I said, "Okay." Yeah. Walk away, leave it alone, because everybody knows best. But we had been there, and we'd been on set, so we'd seen it. We knew what they were, but people are going to be adamant that they. Yeah, people always think they know best. It's a bit like that with the boots. I remember just being in front of a rack with all their boots on and seeing what they were and all that, and people saying, "No, they're these," and it's like they're not because I've seen them literally 2 foot from my face. Yeah, it's very sometimes you can't. And I say we had all signed non-disclosure agreements. So, we weren't at liberty to sort of disclose any of that. Yeah, no, absolutely. And like we said, the crew jacket was obviously a cheaper red jacket to sort of match that. Yeah. And it had the Firehouse name tag and then a black cast and crew logo on the arm. And they're very nice jackets. I wear mine in the winter all the time, actually. So, very nice jackets. And they came with this thank you card, which I have framed, and it's, in fact, I'll read it out. It says, whenever you choose to wear your Firehouse crew jacket, we hope to remember that you are a Ghostbuster, and this next chapter in our story could never have happened without the hard work and dedication of this extraordinary crew. Filming Ghostbusters Firehouse here in the UK has been a dream that we will never forget.
Your level of craft and passion is inspiring. Thank you for joining us in telling a Ghostbusters story that will be enjoyed by generations of fans across the world. With respect and gratitude. And then it's got some signatures which are printed underneath of like the main directors and producers and all that sort of stuff. And that was inside the jacket. It's very nice little card, and it's actually double-sided as well. Yeah. It's the same print either side. So yeah, very nice. That. And then what other crew stuff did they have?
Crew coin.
The crew coin. They did have the crew coin, and I have one of those here in a frame. And it's the crew logo one side.
Yeah.
And then the other side, which we can't look at because I've got it in a frame.
Yeah.
is the firehouse in like a gold colour.
These were quite coveted, the coins.
Yeah, they weren't given to everyone.
No, and they were a lot of people. And even today, I think people are still looking for the coins. Sometimes you can strike lucky and have a bargain. Sometimes you've got to pay through the nose for them. So. Yeah,
well, I seem to remember our friend Dano Denton got lucky where someone had listed one on eBay for like £50 or something. And he happened to be on eBay at that time and got lucky and bought it. At the same time, I believe one went at auction for about £500 at that point in time.
Exactly.
So, and I think we have to remember, whilst we were saying all the crew were friendly and enjoyed it, some people they're not bothered by the crew gifts.
It's just an extra income. Yes, exactly. It doesn't mean anything to some people. They loved being on the film, they loved being part of it, but the gifts as such, and a lot of them have come onto the market.
Yeah.
And that's. I think that's the norm with a lot of these things. Yeah,
a lot. You look up crew gifts for any film and you'll find some stuff out there for any of them. And another thing was this postcard, which I actually think come with the beanie hat.
It did, I think that's right. Yeah.
And it says Winnersh, and it's a bit like the Hollywood sign.
Yeah, that's right.
And then it's like a postcard. So the other side it has printed signatures of, I believe it was Paul Rudd and Carrie Coon.
Yeah,
which is nice. And then obviously these little wristbands, Firehouse wristbands, which were for some of the crew, so very nice things. I think that covers it for all the crew stuff. No, I'm completely wrong on that. I'm jumping way ahead of myself. So we managed to get a few other little crew bits. So we've got some crew t-shirts. So there was different crew t-shirts. So we'll start with the first one, which is like the main crew t-shirt, which has this really nice image on the front, and it's got like the firehouse, it's got Garaka, which at that point in time, I didn't know his name was Garaka. No. I don't know if you did or did you find that out.
Yeah.
It's got the Ecto-1, it's got a little mini puff, and I have always been told, correct me if I'm wrong, that artwork was done by Gil himself.
That's right, yeah, designed by Gil, yeah.
Yeah, and it is really nice artwork, and I don't wear this t-shirt out, and I really should, because it's a nice t-shirt.
Yeah. There was copies of that available through somewhere like TeePublic, I think.
Yeah, so, I believe there was, so I think that might be the way to do it. And of course, the way TeePublic prints their stuff, they actually come out a bit smaller than the original, so you can't get it mixed up with an original. No. So if anyone's ever trying to sell one that's original, you can normally tell because it's a much larger print than you'd get on the copy, so to speak. And then we've got a Props Crew t-shirt, which isn't much different in design. It's just got the Firehouse logo and then Props Crew 2023 underneath. And you've got one of these as well, haven't you, Chris?
Yeah, they're quite coveted. Anything from the props departments always are. I've got a lot of stuff from GB1 and GB2.
Yeah, you got a nice jacket fairly recently from GB2 as well.
Yeah, William Fulsh's jacket. So
and all that sort of stuff massively sought after because there's only limited numbers of those ever made. And then this is the Props Modelling Crew, which is a really nice logo. So it's like almost like a Ghostbusters 4 logo. It's got Moogly holding up like the heavy metal devil horns with each hand.
Very, very cool.
Very nice. And then the only other crew bit we have, unless there's anything else I've missed, is a costume department tote bag, which I really like the design in this. They've used the engineers patch.
Yeah.
And it says Ghostbusters Costuming Engineers, what do you want? Established 2023. Which reminds me, I think you were telling me a story about the engineers patch off camera before we started.
Yeah, I mean, so the day we went to costume and that, and we was allowed free roam in the costume department, I think the guys will back me up on this. We were going along the racks and suddenly I find a rack of black flight suits, and we're like, oh my God, this is there's going to be some kind of franchise or something involved in it. Because look, black flight suits, and there's some cog-like badge on it. And at the time, we didn't put 2 and 2 together. But this turned out to be the engineer.
Yeah, the engineer flight suit.
Yeah, which obviously James Acaster was wearing. So, so that was pretty cool to have seen those, but we didn't realise the significance of it at the time. So
yeah, and it's such a simple design, but yet so good.
Yeah,
and all the simple designs are.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so that's it for the crew items, but we managed to get some actual props.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously we could literally do a program just on props and bits and pieces that we've accumulated.
Yeah, I think the first one to talk about is the firehouse tile.
Yeah.
From one of the green tiles from the actual firehouse. So we've got, I think we've got one each. Is that right?
I've got a couple. I think. Yeah.
And I'm actually planning to get mine signed by Annie Potts at her signing in Manchester.
Yeah, nice.
Which I think would be nice. Yeah, I mean, it's just a green tile. I don't think we can say much more about that, really, can we? But it's nice to have.
I've got a wall of tiles, haven't I?
You do, yes, from the laboratory.
From the laboratory, so I was fortunate enough to be gifted that, and I've coveted those, but I've also, foolishly or kindly, cut a few off, and I've gifted them to members of Southend-on-Sea.
You have, and we all very much appreciate that. It was really kind of you.
So I've done those in frames for them for Christmas before last.
That was, yeah.
Jeff Schreck, my buddy in America, and Darren's friend as well.
Yeah, hello Jeff.
Hiya Jeff. I gifted Jeff one as well. I think that's about the only people that I've given them to, although I do owe Simon and Oz one, so I will have to sort that out.
Yeah, and he's out of them after that, so...
yeah, so no knocking on the door asking. So I also have one of the steps from the library. Yeah, that's a big old piece. So, you know, it wouldn't mean much to anybody, but it meant a lot to me. So,
yeah, and that's the funny thing about some of this stuff, isn't it? It's like the firehouse tile is just a green tile. The library step is just what looks like a bit of stone step, but it's, you know, to anyone outside the GB community, it's tat, I suppose. Yeah. But to us, it's like priceless.
I mean, I was there the day they wrapped, because I had to go back because we was very lucky that they'd signed a load of stuff for us, and I went and met Eric Wright from Ghost Corps and collected all the signed items, and when I was there, like, they were dismantling and breaking the setup, and it's heartbreaking because it all goes to landfill. You know,
just the thought of it is like
heartbreaking. It makes you sick to your stomach.
Because like, I feel like I would have paid so much money just to walk around that set in my flight suit taking pictures.
Yeah,
and I feel like I can speak for most of the community in saying that. I can't imagine there'd be many people that would disagree and say I wouldn't have done.
No, definitely. It's very, very sad to see that broken up and that. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of items which are collated and kept, you know, but there are also a tremendous amount of really amazing pieces which end up in a big skip. Or
is a shame. But it is what it is, and it's the same for any film, really, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's just props, and once they've served their purpose, I think for you know, big companies like Sony, it's easier to just pay someone to rebuild the firehouse set if they do another film than store it all and all that. So, got this thing here. This is one of the stickers from Razor Cult Bookshop, which you kindly actually gave to me. You got this from one of your contacts, and this was this would have been one of the stickers that was on sale in his shop, and it's a really nice design. I think that was used on some of the other stuff within there, so I'll put that in that frame, and that is really cool. I do have one other thing to show you, Chris, and you don't know I've got this.
No.
So this is not a prop that was seen in the film, but is a prototype of Garaka's orb.
Wow. That actually looks like...
So this, there's actually a video where Adam Savage talks about one of these.
I'll need the glasses for this.
Yeah, no problem. And so this was the original design they come up with, and it's a lot more perfect, I guess is the word. And apparently Gil didn't really like it. He wanted it to look more
ancient and rustic,
which is obviously what they ended up with.
This looks very. This looks very sort of. I want to say sort of Hellraiser-ish or Borgish, like, you know, Star Trek-ish. I don't know. I've got to be honest, I think it's a fantastic piece because...
Yeah, I mean...
But,
how often can you get
find another
prototype?
one.
Yeah.
Find another one.
But... the design they went with is 100% better.
That's fascinating, and you kept that one quiet.
Yeah,
so.
I was waiting until today to show you that, and was very happy to get that. Yeah. And it's cool to see, just how it differed from the what they ended up with.
So I'm gonna raise your devil's testicle, and I'm going to show you a couple of items which I was lucky enough, and
looking forward to seeing these.
Darren's been looking forward to. So I was very kindly I managed to procure these from somebody off of set, and these, as you can see, are tea towels, but these were sold exclusively in Ray's bookshop.
Yeah, and the designs on them are just absolutely incredible. If they'd done posters of that design, I would buy that.
So that's one. There are actually 4 designs for those that are interested, and I've managed to get 2 of the designs. These were only given to some of the cast and crew, so there aren't many of these floating around, and people don't tend to part with them.
Yeah, and that I think is that the same skull that was on the
it's very similar.
It's very similar, and it has Razor Cult books at the bottom with the address, and fantastic designs. And I mean, if anyone who makes Ghostbusters merch is listening, just releasing a set of tea towels with these designs or posters or anything would just be...
Yeah, I think Jeff Schreck's fortunate enough to have one of these designs as well. I think what I can tell you is one of the other designs is the standard black and yellow Razor Cult design. I cannot for the like of me remember what the 4th design was. But very, very pleased to own those in my collection. So.
Yeah, absolutely incredible pieces. They are. I can't think of anything else merch-wise or prop-wise.
I do have a few more bits and pieces, but again, I think time was of the essence tonight, and these are things we might possibly revisit. We might like to do something on props and merchandise from all of the films, because as I said earlier, I do have a large collection of early GB1 and GB2 shirts, t-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, etc. And we could more than likely do best part of a episode on those for anyone that's interested.
Absolutely, I think that'd be a good thing to go over. We, as I say, we'll always be thankful, myself and Darren, and I think the rest of the guys at Southend and Simon and Oz, for being given the chance. We do know, there was a little bit of a backlash from some members of the community. We understand how very, very lucky and fortunate we was to be involved, and we will always be grateful to Sony for that and for their continued support with other things that we've done and other things that we're going on to do. So we was very, very grateful. It also gave myself and some of the boys the chance to make friends with the guys from Yes Have Some. That was the first time we met them in person, and our relationship's grown from that. And hopefully it'll go on to continue growing. So thanks a lot, guys, because we love your little documentary you've done about us, and it's really, really appreciated. So that was a great little video they did there. And funny enough, because at one convention I was actually interviewing a couple of the Southend on Sea Guys, and we played that video before, which was really cool. So I think that wraps things up for tonight. So thank you for watching episode 2 of Last of the Petty Cash, and we hope you'll stick with us for the next one. But
remember,
until then,
like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, like and subscribe, that's the important thing.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff, wherever you listen or watch us. And yes,
Let's go
are
for
we
it.
ready? We're
Ready to believe you.
The last of the petty cash went down the drain for Twinkies and coffee and a busted chain. No more donuts, no more caffeine rain, just saving the city and feeling the strain. Ray's got a plan, but it's held with tape. Egon's experiments always misbehave. Venkman's flirting, but it's all escape, while the bank account looks like a dried up lake. The last of the petty cash went down the drain for Twinkies and coffee and a busted chain. No more donuts, no more caffeine rain, just saving the city and feeling the strain. Ray's got a plan, but it's held with tape. Egon's experiments always misbehave. Venkman's flirting, but it's all escape, while the bank account looks like a dried up lake. The last of the petty cash went down the drain for Twinkies and coffee and a busted chain. No more donuts, no more caffeine rain, just saving the city and feeling the strain. Janine shouting, the budget's toast. Ghost traps buzzing, but we broke the most. No time to worry when there's a haunting post, but who knew fighting